All right, here we go. Apologize to be a smidge tardy to the party, given the fact that it's a Friday night game, and there's been a lot of news with Matt Rhule and Penn State. We'll get to all that and get to the club. But first, got to talk about the best club in the world, and that's the Pella. That's the Pella Club, and I'm in that club. I'm firmly in that club. Okay, PellaOmaha.com is the website. Showrooms, Omaha and Lincoln. Check them out. You're in need of any window and doors. Make sure you start with Pella. Love everybody there. They're fantastic. PellaOmaha.com, folks. PellaOmaha.com. Okay, that's Bo Ruud. I mean, it's Wednesday. It's almost 2:00.
I was in Nebraska City for 2 days, so I literally thought I was going to pull in this drive, and you're going to be like, "Did you hear Matt Rhule's at Penn State?" So that's good news. I missed a lot, but I didn't miss anything really important. It wasn't. Matt Rhule is still our head football coach.
Yes.
Today.
Okay. So what's frustrating. A couple of things. We're going to get to the club. We'll talk a little bit about Minnesota, but just what I just said there is kind of frustrating. That like all week, it feels like the game has taken a backseat to the Rhule Penn State stuff. Like if you present me two items of content, and one is going to be about Nebraska and Minnesota, or it's about Rhule and Penn State, I am way more interested in the Rhule Penn State thing right now than I am the Nebraska Minnesota thing. And that's kind of unfortunate because Nebraska's 5-1. They're in the top. They're ranked in the top 25.
Yeah.
So that kind of stinks. Can we all just agree for a second?
Nick, it's distractions. This is the reality of life.
Yes.
Is how do you deal with distractions?
How you manage it.
This is one of those ignore the noise situations. This is a distraction. It is nothing but a true distraction.
Yes. Okay. James Franklin fired. Unbelievable. Just let's do like 60 seconds on James Franklin for a second. He was in the college football playoff semifinals a year ago and was pretty close to beating Notre Dame and getting to the title game. Okay. They were just in overtime. I was in Vegas with everybody. We were watching the game in overtime, like just Oregon, a couple of weeks ago against Oregon, and now he's fired. Crazy, right? I mean, it's pretty amazing to live in a world. I get it. The guy did everything but win a national championship. He literally did. Like you go look at his resume, top 10 finishes, Big Ten champs. Like he did everything but win a national championship. And so just with that, it's kind of amazing that guy gets fired. But I suppose that's the world we live in. And what I don't understand is it sounds like the climate around him and the fans were not great. That's like from the outside looking in, you always had the foresight to go, well, guys, you don't want to fire Bo Pelini. But maybe from the outside looking in, people go, why is Nebraska mad at Bo Pelini? They're winning 9 games a year. What do you expect? That's kind of how I think a lot of us feel about Penn State. It's like, you guys are not happy with James Franklin. That seems crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, you're a top 5 team in the country to start the year out. Like there's worse places to be, but I mean, but this is where like they had a couple of bad games. They had a couple of bad, I'm sure, when they're watching film, they see a couple of bad plays that cost them games against Oregon, UCLA and then Northwestern. Like I bet it was a handful of plays, and all of a sudden your coach is gone. Your program is turned on its head,
and their quarterback got hurt after the season. So their season's gone.
But now it's like the program could be, we've seen what happens when then you hire the wrong coach and you're down a whole nother path.
Yes. So there's that. So obviously Matt Rhule being connected to this job is not surprising at all. Okay. Alma mater. Grew up there, grew up in State College, went to high school in State College, met his wife at Penn State, played for Joe Paterno. Like, this guy is Penn State through and through. Oh, and by the way, Pat Kraft, the AD, him and Rhule are, I don't want to say they're best friends because I don't know that for sure, but they're very close friends. Pat Kraft hired him at Temple. Yeah. Like, the connections are, like, absurd, okay?
Yes.
So we just re-listened to some of the pertinent information or clips, I should say, from the press conference on Monday. Matt Rhule certainly didn't squash anything in that press conference. Like there's a way to come to a press conference and shut everything down. Like Dan Lanning was linked to some jobs. And this is what he said just like a couple of weeks ago. He said, I've been very clear. There's a quote from him. I've been very clear and adamant. I think a lot of coaches in those moments get quiet, but I've been very clear and adamant that I'm not going anywhere. A lot of coaches use that as an opportunity to say, okay, I'm either going to get a big raise where I'm at, or maybe they really want that other job. I don't want any other job. I've got the job that I want. That, my friends, is how you shut it down. Okay. And even with shutting it down, like I got to experience it firsthand with Roy Williams. I listened to Roy Williams tell Bonnie Bernstein, I don't give a shit about North Carolina. And then a week later takes the North Carolina job. So there's also two sides to it. You can shut it down and still go, but there's a way to shut it down. Rhule didn't shut it down. Did you, is that how you kind of read into it too?
Oh, he didn't shut it down. Hearing it, like I said, we just re-listened to it a minute before we started taping, right? So when he starts talking about, and I think you're going to get into this, explaining like when they ask, well, what do we need? What steps do you need? It was almost clear, like Matt Rhule he didn't hesitate to sort of sell what, what he wants. Right. So in a weird way, without saying I'm negotiating right now, it felt like Matt Rhule was negotiating.
Yes. It didn't it? It kind of, in some ways, the more I'm getting removed, the more I'm like, that was kind of crazy. Like not crazy. And I actually thought Rhule played all of it very well.
He played it perfect.
Because in some ways I sit there and go like, I mean, it's up to him whether he wants to squash it or not, but maybe it's not smart to not squash it because you are in a position of leverage and you probably need to use this opportunity to get whatever desired outcome you want, whether that's more investment for your salary, which I mean, Rhule's already like handsomely paid, or more money invested into the program.
But he could get a double whammy. So like he's a smart enough guy, and the way he just answered those questions in the press conference tells me, yes, that's as good of an answer as you can give, which is not only did he say like, we need more investment, which means we need NIL dollars. That means somebody else needs to go out and convince people to make us a $30 or $40 million a year NIL school. Right. Mm-hmm. Probably he's going to get a raise around that too. Yeah. Just the threat of him leaving, which is a real potential. But it makes our team better. He's actually, this is a chance to make your program better. And I actually respect it. Like he's selling where he actually was doing selling, which Matt Rhule is the ultimate salesman, right? He's selling the Nebraska fan base and school on, we're innovators, right? He was going through hey, we built the stadium fast. Hey, we were the first to do nutrition, weight room, field turf, that's just selling, right? You're reminding a state, don't get too tied down and scared and slow in this moment. This is a moment where you got to be forward thinking and fast acting. And Matt Rhule did that in a few sentences. And it looked like he was just answering off the. That was actually
really impressive. Like even
listening to business school and say that is a good answer.
Because what he did, I think what's hard is he talked about being kind of unabashed and not being afraid, even if it goes against the Nebraska. Like Nebraskans like to think of themselves as frugal,
practical
people. Yeah. They also I think we all like to think of how Nebraska did it from 1970 to 1997. We did it. We did it with development, which we did. I'm not saying,
but we were cutting edge.
But that's the thing, and that's what Rhule's trying to say. Like, listen, you can tell me the Joel Makovica story and the whatever story. You can tell me all these stories of like the walk-on programs and the da-da-da-da-da. But like, you guys were cutting edge with the jumbo board, with the Husker Vision screen, all that stuff. You need to stop getting too caught up in like paying players. Like this is money. You invested money before, you can invest it again.
Yeah. Maybe there's a day where the NCAA and college football goes away from paying players again. There may be a day, but until that day comes, the mindset needs to shift to be we're the best at playing players, right? Like you never want to be the last mover, right? When you're the last mover and that means you got it wrong and you were last. Both not good things. Like you want to be early and right.
Agree.
And so if this is right and you're early, you get an advantage. And so like, I'd say we're not quite early enough, but we still have a chance to convince boosters that this is right. And let's be early enough that we're not forever out of the picture.
See, the thing that I'm trying to figure out though, was that whole thing about investing in $30-40 million rosters, that's not going away. I'd like for Nebraska to be that, what Rhule's all saying. Was that a call to action from Dannon to all the boosters? Or was that almost like an ultimatum? Like almost insinuating like, hey, listen, if you want to keep me here, like I'm paraphrasing here and we're in speculative mode and all that stuff. You want to keep me here? Here's what you got to do. $30-40 million roster. You better be there. We better this, it, like, or I'll go where they're going to do that. Like, that's what I'm not totally sure. Cause I don't even know, like, I don't even think Rhule would even need to interview with Pat Kraft. Like those guys, I'm sure they've had conversations before on a hypothetical, like, hey, hypothetically speaking, if this job were to open, would you want it?
After they lost to UCLA, I wouldn't doubt. Like if Matt Rhule is a real top 2 or 3 candidate, if you're buddies with somebody, you're having that conversation in very, very private.
Oh yeah.
Probably like when the seed's planted, probably the UCLA losses, that seed was planted. Like,
what do you think?
Yeah. Like the boosters probably started getting restless in Penn State. He reaches out to a close friend,
whatever they got to
temperature, and Matt Rhule's probably checking the temperature himself. He's saying like, maybe there's a world where Matt Rhule maybe wants to stay here.
Yeah.
And, maybe he says, you might even tell your friend, like, make it seem like you're going to hire me. Yeah. I'm staying here, but I'm going to get what we need done here.
Right.
Like I wouldn't put it past him. Like,
so I guess that's what it's interesting how that press conference unfolded. And now, because that was really the money, the whole thing. I love Penn State. I also love, that's all well and good. The main course of the press conference was the whole thing about when Sam asked, what are the steps? That was the meat of what that is telling
like
you.
It was like telegraphed though. Like, man, I'm going to ask you this. So, it was like he was prepared for that.
I think that's where Rhule's just like special. Like, I think he has a way of like, he made that feel like it was off the cuff, but he knew, listen, he had 36 hours to get ready for, you knew that he was going to get asked about it. And you knew, so he came into that thing locked and loaded. So
I'm applauding him because he complimented everybody. He said, I'm not talking about it, but he basically made a pitch for bring some more money to my program. It's like what a time. Like, you rarely get those opportunities, right? What if he would have just lost 2 games? He can't say that. He can't even ask that, right? Probably. Because he's probably
They're 5-1, top 25. If there's a moment to say, I want XYZ, it's there.
If you've just lost, 2 or 3, you have been 3 in a row, right? So those last 2 games, if he loses, he's lost 3 in a row. He's probably not a front runner for that job.
Yeah.
But like those 2 games go different. He has some leverage now. He is a candidate. So he goes, well, let's see if I can make this program better.
Couple of things to the thing. It'll be interesting. I'd love to know what the big money people behind the scenes and Troy Dan and what those conversations are like, where, do people, maybe there's people that have the money, but don't want to spend it because they don't believe Rhule's the guy, or they've been burned in they've made investments before, O'Shawn Mathis, whatever, I'm just throwing out these. It's not like these checks haven't been cut before. Now they're needing bigger checks, like people have cut 6-figure checks. There probably need to be like 7-figure checks being cut right now. So I wonder what those conversations are like behind the scenes on is Nebraska, is that the world of them being a $34 million roster? Is that just not in the cards for Nebraska football, or is it in the cards, but maybe they're dragging their feet on Rhule? Are they dragging their feet because they feel like they've been burned? Like, I'm fascinated what that is.
I think there's a world where my real just off the cuff guess is somewhere along the lines of, I think people just need to see one winning season. And I think it's going to start getting a lot easier to ask for a little bit more money.
Yeah,
I don't know what our total NIL budget is right now, but let's say we're a $20 million team versus a 30 to 40, right? So if you win 9 or 10 games, I think it's pretty easy to then make that jump from 20 to 30 in Nebraska would be my guess. Now 20 to 40, that's probably a lot. I mean, it's a lot of money per year for each player.
Yeah.
For all the players. I mean, that's a big jump. So that would mean that there's going to be a lot of people that need to be out there selling on that, which means the athletic, director and his crew probably are a big part of that.
But it's a good point. It wouldn't surprise me. It makes sense to me. You and I, me and you are big boosters. We have a lot of money.
Yeah.
I could understand you sitting there with a blank check and you write whatever amount of money that needs to get written, and you're going, can I see you finish one good year before I get that. That's where I completely understand if there maybe are some big money people out there going, do I really want to write that check right now?
Yeah. And I mean, the guy, obviously, like we got a Warren Buffett in Nebraska who's got so much money he could sneeze 50 million and he wouldn't, it
wouldn't even affect
it's a rounding error for him, right? But most of the people that are giving these checks, it's not insignificant. I mean, $1 million is still $1 million. And these people that, most of them,
it's I know. I agree.
$1 million gets to the point where there's only the Buffetts of the world. $1 million's it's a sneeze, everybody else. That's enough that it's like, God, like you do one player that's like a dud and you go, that's maybe the worst money I've ever spent in my life.
Yeah. It's
not going to a good cause.
It's one thing to donate something to build a practice facility or build something and your name gets put on it and you get that it's forever. It's there. Yeah. It's another thing to just, I don't want to say you're lighting money on fire because you're not, but you're throwing money into a pit and
you're hoping that the full add them all up, all those players produces something you're proud of that that you want your state and your school and your fan base to be proud of. Like that's the idea. It's not like, I think it's less than like that single player. Right. That's my guy. Like, I think it's less that, but you just feel like you're contributing to the improvement of the program. Right?
So, I mean, if we are still in limbo with all of this in a couple of weeks and Nebraska goes to Penn State on November 22nd. Oh my God.
Well, the worst part is like, if they haven't found their guy and Matt Rhule keeps winning and then goes and wins at Penn State, then the Penn State people are going to want him more. Cause like, I don't know where the Penn State mindset is with him.
I couldn't agree more. That's still where to me, firing James Franklin and hiring Matt Rhule. This isn't meant to be a shot at Matt Rhule, but I guess if I'm Penn State or a Penn State fan, firing James Franklin and hiring Matt Rhule makes zero sense to me. From the standpoint of you're firing a guy in James Franklin that like we said a second ago, the only thing he couldn't do was like get a national championship. To hire a guy who really hasn't proven that he can even get to James Franklin's level that apparently wasn't even good enough. I mean, Rhule's never gotten to James Franklin's level. Now, a part of that is also Rhule hasn't stayed at a place long enough to probably like bear those fruits, but like that is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's where I don't know, like, is if you're Penn State, how fired up are you for Matt Rhule?
I mean, I think when I was looking at on like The Athletic, it's like everybody's saying Cignetti, right? Cignetti, like everybody has him as the guy. And you know how it is. Like when you're on the coaching search, which we've been through a couple, you just go to the top of mind guy.
He's the hottest name.
He's the hottest name. And what he's doing in Indiana is unbelievable.
Yes.
So like, I would assume people in Penn State would be more excited about him, right? Not that they don't like Matt Rhule because he's a Penn State guy, but I just don't think Matt Rhule's ever had the cachet that guy's had, right now. And so that's good for us. I actually think it helps that, you know, 'cause I want Matt Rhule to stay.
It feels like, I know that's what's weird is I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like completely all in on Matt Rhule. I think I think the guy Sunday through Friday, I don't know how you do a better job than Matt Rhule. I really don't. Saturdays is still TBD to me. Like he's still got to go prove it some more to me. Nebraska started 5-1 last year. So it's not like this is totally uncharted territory. But I also can say that, but also acknowledge that like starting all over seems like, ugh.
That's what I'm saying. That feels like we're not at a place where that's an option to me. So like, is Matt Rhule the guy for the next 10 years? Like a part of me thinks it's very possible. I mean, I like him. I do not want him to go, but I especially do not want Matt Rhule to do anything right now.
Right.
Like we got Dylan. We're just getting over the hump and it's just not the time, right? If Matt Rhule gets us to the college football playoff and does something else and, you know, then says, I'm moving on back to the pros or some other school. It feels like that's a better position to leave us than like before we've gotten over some sort of.
I also can understand that. Like, I don't think if Matt Rhule were, let's say he takes the job. I mean, it's home.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
fault him.
I really can't. Like, I don't, and I know Husker fans will feel upset about it, but like how I want to just flip it. How you feel about Nebraska, that's like, you may not realize it because he's wearing Nebraska and deep down inside, that's how Rhule feels about Penn State.
Yeah. This is probably this is why it's such unfortunate timing is like,
it might be his dream job.
It's his dream job. And he's got a top, you know, the roster is a roster that was a top 3 team 4 weeks ago, you know? So like, it's a roster that's good enough to be considered a top 10 team, you know? So as a coach, you're going, man, is it easier to recruit there? Is it easier as a starting play? I mean, he probably walks into a more talented roster day one after a fired coach.
And I think the other thing, now they seem great. And so I don't want to like create something that isn't there, but I think it's always worth pointing out. I think some people forget, like, Matt Rhule came here and was hired by Trev Alberts. Trev Alberts isn't here. Yeah. A big part of Matt Rhule also coming here was Ted Carter. Ted Carter's not in that position anymore. He is now working for an athletic director that he wasn't hired by. Now, it seems like Troy Dannon's doing a great job and that him and Troy Dannon have a great relationship, but I say that just worth kind of like, I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah.
And then to contrast it with a guy that is like, that you even listen to Pat Kraft talk. Like I watched his press conference. First of all, they almost like, they kind of have the same like gray beard. They like, it's almost as if like, they're like, they sound the same. They speak the same. Like, so they have a relationship. They worked together before. He's friends with the AD. The AD hired him. It's home. It's his alma mater. Like, guys, I am concerned.
I would be concerned. The question would be is the timeline, because I feel like anymore they don't wait as much. They want it done sooner than later.
I know.
And so that means like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen probably
when, Bo. That's right. I don't know. Because let's say Nebraska, like we said, like there's a world where Nebraska goes 10-2. Like I think that's possible. There's also a world where they go 7-5. I think that's entirely possible too.
Yeah.
But let's say they go 10-2, and let's say they're in the college football. Like, what do you do? How long can Penn State wait on him? how long? Because just say it out loud. Are we going to get to Black Friday and Penn State it's still like radio silent from Penn State?
Well, with Frost, we waited until,
I thought it was after.
Wasn't it Black Friday week?
I thought yes, because he coached was it after the AAC championship game? I thought it got announced.
Frost did. I'm saying after Frost was fired, Rhule was hired.
Rhule was hired Black Friday. Like, I think basically that, yeah.
I feel like that same way, yeah.
So this is going to be a very, very interesting couple of weeks here.
Boy. Not what we needed. We need to focus on Minnesota, Nick. You know this. I
know. That's what's frustrating about it. That's I just know, like, I heard Dylan Raiola, he was at the podium and said, like, he ain't going anywhere. That's our coach, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just, like, I lived it, man. I played with all those guys. I played with Wayne Simeon, Aaron Miles, Keith, like all the guys that Roy just took to a Final Four. And I'm not saying Roy lied to those guys, but they had very private conversations that made those guys feel like Roy wasn't going anywhere.
You know how it is. And these biggest of big decisions, even a guy like Roy Williams probably didn't know until he knew.
Yes.
Like, which means he's like, guys, I don't think I'm going to do it. And something could shift in his mind where, he talks to his wife and he's just like, and they in that moment, after they think they're not going to do it, home can bring you back to home.
Home is magnetic,
the dream job can bring you back. So this is his dream job. It doesn't matter what he says.
So that's what I throw caution to people being
the dream job. You'll wake up one day and you'll just be going and you'll say, I'm sorry. I didn't think I was going to do it, but I can't pass it up.
Yes.
And you know what? There'll be some hurt feelings. There'll be some, you led me on, but it doesn't matter because the guy will be gone.
Yes. I lived it, you guys. Yeah. I lived it. I understand.
A Final Four team. A legend at KU. The legend at KU.
Yes. The guy leaving to go home. I mean, it's eerily similar.
I know.
And so what the reason I'm bringing that up is for everybody consuming, oh, look at Dylan said it's like, guys, that means fucking nothing. Okay. No. It means not a damn thing. Okay. No. I'm sure I've told this story on the pod, but I'll retell it. I'll never forget when I'm working for 1620. This would have been 2009. North Carolina's in the College World Series. I'm hosting some shows at the CWS. North Carolina's there. A North Carolina official comes up and says, "Are you Nick Bahe?" I said, "Yes." Said, "Roy Williams got wind that you are here. He wants to talk to you." And he slid me a piece of paper. He goes, "Roy is going to be in this seat." And he was at section 24 road. And he was like, he wants you to come talk to him in the first inning, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I go, now this is, mind you, this was 5 years after, after I had committed to him and then he left. So, I mean, but I never spoke I'd spoke to the assistants. I never had a conversation with Roy after he left.
Yeah.
And Roy I come and he tells some guy to leave. He sits next to me for an entire inning. Roy, looks me dead in my eyes for an entire inning and does nothing but apologize to me.
Oh, wow. I don't know that you've ever really told me this.
I don't know. Literally, I'm sitting and like, I just graduated from Creighton. Like I played, my career's done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, so to me, I'm like, now you kind of never get over it. Like one of the greatest what ifs in my life is that. Now I love Bill Self to fucking death. And that's my dog. I love him, but like I was recruited by Roy and I committed to Roy.
Yeah.
But so all he did was apologize to me, but all he talked about was home. He goes, Nick, it was home. My sister was there. All my family's there. It was home.
Yeah.
He was like, it had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with KU. It had nothing to do with I wanted to coach you so bad. I wanted to coach there. I wanted to coach that team.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hey, man, I get like as at the time, I'll never forget when I came home from Southeast High School in April of 2003 and I turn on Sports Center and I see the news being crushed.
Yeah.
Just crushed. Yeah. Right. But, you come to grips with it. And like the older I get now, I'm like, I get it. Home is home, man. Home, you can't argue with home.
Yep.
So sorry for story time. We'll get to the club and all this stuff, but I just wanted to, I wanted to bring that up because I just wanted, you got everybody being like, you know, you get on social media, Dylan saying this, that, people like, see, he ain't going nowhere. It's like, guys, I'm just telling you that shit means nothing.
Yeah.
It means nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Even at the highest of, like, KU's an example of, like, that's the one of the 3 blue bloods in all of college basketball. You're in the Final Four.
They were in the national title game against Melo.
Yeah, I mean, you're there.
Yes.
You got a great roster coming back.
Yeah.
But it's just the 1 in a million, and when the 1 in a million comes up, throw everything else out the window. And this Matt Rhule's 1 in a million.
That's what I'm saying. That's where this was. Any other job, Roy doesn't take it, but this was the one job he was going to take.
I don't think you've ever told me that.
Have I never told you that story? It was one of, and then we stood up.
Surreal though, because Roy is like, he sought you out.
He sought me out. I thought I was one of, because I will say the one thing that always didn't. I was like, man, I wish I could have like
talked to him about
at least a phone call. You know, like, but. He made up for it, more than made up for it with that, you know, like that's it. And that tells me a lot. Like that, that's the man that I committed to.
It was
like,
still weighing on him. Yeah.
It was still, I could tell this was like, he felt like there was a box he needed to check.
Yeah.
And I was on that list for him.
Yeah.
And I kept being like, Coach, it's fine. Like I you know what? Like I've had a great career. I'm in a good spot. Like, you know, and I just wanted to tell you, and so
good man.
We stood up and hugged and said our goodbyes, and that was it.
Still the greatest practice in Southeast history is when Roy Williams showed up. Everybody in the team trying to earn a scholarship.
It was when he walked into Prost Gymnasium, it was like, oh my God, there's Roy effing Williams.
And none of us knew. You knew.
Yeah.
But nobody else in the team
I know.
knew.
Me and Coach Smith were like, Joey, let's keep it. We didn't want to create, like, first of all, we thought if the word got out, like, there'd be hundreds of people around the gym waiting for, you know, and so we kept it on the low. And it was, I mean, people were diving. Everybody's playing.
And took a seat, and I was like, it's Roy Williams over there. And this is like a Tuesday practice. Yes. You're like, this is Tuesday.
We got after it that day.
Oh man. All-time practice. We were actually all terrible because we were so.
Roy had to have left been like, this is the number 1 team in Class A in Nebraska, because we couldn't even enter offense. People were fouling the shit. I mean, it was terrible.
Well, the funny part was, like, the players were playing so hard, but the coaches were coaching hard.
Yeah,
the coaches were trying to earn a job. Like, go, like we were like, everybody. The intensity was a 12. I mean,
it was crazy, absolutely crazy. Any other things with Rhule and Penn State before we go to the club?
Let's get to the club. We just killed 30 on that.
Okay. Last week, club. Dylan Raiola, Ja'Cory Barney, Singleton, Emmett Johnson, Isaiah Hunter. Eckler was an honorary invite for a mosh pit. Bo Ruud's plan was to put in a stretch limo Winery, McCullough, Lindenmeyer, and the entire Scarlet Dance team. A lot of comments on YouTube being like, that seems like a better place to be than the club.
I think it is.
Gourmet Grill, Javin Wright, Key, and Sayer Wright. And then we sent the O-line home to do some soul searching and hit the playbook.
There we go.
Okay, this week. Emmett Johnson. I'm going to say Emmett's name's first.
Number 1 in the club, Emmett Johnson. I like that.
Dylan Raiola.
Dylan for sure.
Isaiah Hunter. Dane Key. I've really turned the club into a prisoner of the moment club. It might be called prisoner of the moment.
He made
the game-winning touchdown, dog.
Lindenmeyer had.
And Lindenmeyer's my 5th one. So I went from Barney being like the guy, but Barney kind of didn't do much in that game.
Yeah. We can be prisoners of the moment in the club. It's okay to be.
I kind of think that's the point of the club a little bit. Where are you at?
I'm trying to think. We don't got one guy on defense. So Dason.
I know.
Say the name out loud. Dason made that tackle. That TFL, I felt like was as big of a play.
It was. Okay,
but Dane Key made the touchdown catch.
So
And
Would
Lindenmeyer
you
brings
take
the Scarlets.
Lindenmeyer brings the girls.
I know.
Lindy, we need to at what point does that end? Because that's the best thing he's got going for him.
As long as we feel like it's still happening. Once he gets married, we're like, sorry, the girls are
what was
not
on
going
Superbad? Fogel was going to have the booze, so that's why they wanted, it's like Lindemeyer's got McLovin's got okay, so then are you saying Lindenmeyer out, McCullough in? He caught a touchdown. Lindenmeyer caught a touchdown, and it's more of an amazing play from Raiola, but he makes the play to start the drive that wins the game.
How about this?
This ought to be the most creative, ridiculous thing ever.
We go an all offensive club this week. We give Lindenmeyer and the Scarlets. People just go
Scarlets
for that one.
are in.
Yeah, we got Key. We got Hunter. We got Dylan and got Emmett. We keep Dason. They call him Dason. And Winery in that stretch limo. And we provide some, since the Scarlets are out, provide some new friends.
How about we provide them? How about we provide?
The cheerleaders go in with them.
No. I say we provide them what Kevin McAllister had in his limo.
Pizzas?
A large cheese pizza. Someone is... Rob Snyder, I believe it was Snyder, is opening a pizza yes,
candy, pizza.
And they're watching the Grinch.
Yeah, they're watching the Grinch, and they're going to go to that toy store and pick out whatever they want.
McCullough and who?
Dason and Winery.
Winery are in a limo with pizza heading to the toy store. They're watching. It's all about Home Alone 2. Okay.
I love it.
So, Gourmet Grill then. Barney, Singleton,
Sia Wright. Yeah.
Okay, I thought about that. It's funny. You know what's funny about last week's pod? I was like, who's the best player on the team? And we were like, Sia Wright. And they're like, but he's never even sniffed.
The people in the comments section are always smarter than us. They always point out the flaws in our thinking.
But he's not made one play this year.
But he's also not getting targeted.
That's what I'm saying. I know. So that's what's weird though, is I know he's good. We go, he's probably the best player. He's one of the best players on the team. But I'm like, he just hasn't made a play this year. It's just kind of odd.
I think in time, if he keeps playing well, he'll make some more splash plays. And I just think we will see the impact more. But I just feel like it's been good, but not like maybe not as noticeably good as we would hope to see.
For the record, I want him at I wrote his name down to be at the Gourmet Grill, but I wanted to I wrote a note to talk about him in this regard, that it's crazy that like he just hasn't made a play.
We're kind of front runners this year in the club, and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
We're still sniffing out who this team is, and right now the club is changing a lot each week.
Okay, so so Gourmet Grill, Barney, Singleton, Sia Wright.
Yes.
In an Uber, I want to put Kenneth Williams in there in honor of his new scholarship and the fact that he had that big kickoff return.
Good job.
And then, you know what I want? The O-line went home and thought and got some rest, and I thought they played arguably one of their best games. So let's keep them at home.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
I'm good.
So in review, in the club, Emmett Johnson, Dylan Raiola, and Isaiah Hunter, Dane Key, Lindenmeyer, and the entire Scarlet Dance team. God, Lindenmeyer's got a great advantage, folks. In a limo, eating cheese pizza, going to a toy store. Shouts out to Home Alone 2. Would McCullough and Aaron be like, this sucks?
I don't know. They'll see that cheese pizza. They might be like, that looks delicious.
McCullough and Winery, Gourmet Grill, Barney Singleton, Sierra Wright, and an Uber, Kenneth Williams, in honor of his scholarship. And the O-line is still at home getting some rest because it worked out.
They'll need it.
Okay. To kind of wrap things up here, Minnesota. So, I mean, this game, if we're distracted, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. When you're playing, like, you're pretty, I mean, you got a game, and football is just.
Oh, it's kind of a bad week to be a short week.
And the line keeps moving. It opened up at like 5.5 or 6. It's up to 8.5 in favor of Nebraska with a total of 47.5. Drake Lindsey's their quarterback. they've not ran the ball as well this year.
But they're going to run that ball. They're going to hold the clock.
Yes. It's where it is crucial, I think, that they can't get down. Like, this is the kind of team you get down 13-0, 10-0. You got to get up. You get up 13-0. You get a fast start.
Yeah.
Can't have the second and third quarter lulls, or you for sure got to have a fast start in this game.
That's right.
But PJ Fleck, I know some people don't. I actually like Fleck. I think Fleck's a really good coach. I know he annoys people, but like, I don't know, the guy's.
I love his style. I mean, me and you love that. Like, he wins all sorts of games with inferior talent. Like, he does, because he plays. He just grinds it out. He figures out how to grind out wins, and I respect the coaches that know how to do that. It's not always pretty, but man, it's amazing when you see it happen.
I think we talked about this. I turn on that Minnesota game on Saturday night after the Nebraska-Maryland game, and I'm watching them play Purdue, and they get down to Purdue, and I'm just like, Nebraska's better than Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. But I got Nebraska winning 27-20. It makes me, the things that make me nervous are the Rhule Penn State thing. Like, I think it could be a media thing, like, oh, your guys conjure up that stuff, that it's a distraction. I don't know. I mean, who knows what's going on around there, okay? The Rhule Penn State stuff, it's a short week. It's back-to-back road games. That place, I remember Rhule made the comment that when they went there 2 years ago that they weren't prepared for the crowd noise. Like, it'll be loud there, okay? It'll be a hell of an environment. And the one thing Minnesota is their back seven defensively. They're active. They remind me of you. They are just ball hawks kind of guys. Interceptions worry me a little bit in this one. But I still think Nebraska is going to win, but 8.5 seems crazy to me.
Is it fair to say whoever can run the ball is going to win this game?
Probably.
Because they're going to try, even though they haven't been doing it well so far this year. They will try.
Yes.
It hasn't been necessarily our strength on defense. It's not necessarily their strength on defense, but I think whoever runs the ball should have a distinct advantage in this game.
And you would think Emmett Johnson's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he was quoted in the summer in that campus conversation, like he was really looking forward to this game. Like he feels like his confidence has never been higher.
Oh, yeah.
And he's really motivated for this game.
Yeah, he got to see himself as like have a great game.
Right.
That was his first great game, right?
Yes.
He had a great game. He had 170 some yards rushing and
21 carries, 176 maybe.
Yeah, I mean and he caught the ball, made some nice things happen, some screens. Like the guy he's sort of hitting his stride, his peak as a player right now, right? So like I think we got to feed him the rock. Like I said, I am not concerned about treading the tires with this guy. He hasn't had a ton of carries in his career up to this point. Let's run it through him. Holgorsen made a statement yesterday of just sort of like he wished his game plan 2 weeks before was more like last week's, right? Getting the ball out of Dylan's hands quickly. That to me is how this offense will thrive. Run it through Emmett. Like the offense goes through Emmett and the ball's out of Dylan's hands quick. That sort of gets that pass rush and targeting Dylan, teeing off on Dylan. That's when we're
not a recipe.
Worst. That's the worst recipe, like you said, for our offense is like when we get into that sort of mindset, when Dylan's back there holding the ball, bad things start happening. So the ball's out, it goes through Emmett. I see us beating Minnesota if we can do that. So just stop the run and just do what we've been doing on offense. Like just get the ball out.
I agree. So this feels like a game, implement the same. It was clear in that Maryland game, they came out wanting to establish Emmett Johnson. I hope it's a similar plan. And Nebraska, there were stretches in that Maryland game where Maryland, not a good running team, was running it right down Nebraska's throat. So while you can I think some people look at the run defense and they just go, oh, well, I mean, you just take away the couple of long runs against Michigan and Sorsby's one long run. And it's teams have at times been able to line up and kind of run it right at them. So I think that's a good way to frame it. Whoever runs the ball better is probably going to win the game.
Yeah. And Minnesota typically takes care of the ball pretty well, but Dylan let's say it's Dylan. This is going to be like, let's see how Dylan bounces back in terms of getting back to protecting the football.
Yep.
3 turnovers, pick 6. It was a bad week for him and sort of just like being a little loose with the ball. So I think we need to, like I said, all the things we just said, but also like protect the ball. Like This is Minnesota. Like they're going to be trying to take it away from us. So we need to be extra diligent on our decision making.
Because keep in mind, he had that second half interception against Michigan State too. So he's thrown 4 in the past game and a half. He's had some bad interceptions.
Not like
wow.
tip ball, not like it's like just thrown to the wrong guy.
You're just a bad throw. So I think Nebraska's going to win. I think you do too. But Minnesota's kind of, Nebraska hasn't won there since 2015. And they've won 5. Minnesota's won 5 in a row against Nebraska. This is going to be a war. And with the backdrop of everything with Rhule and Penn State, that creates quite the yikes. By the way, they're wearing all white alternate uniforms. I will say, like, I don't know if you and I ever. This sounds hypocritical to say, like, I don't care about like alternate uniform conversations. Like I remember doing radio, like.
I don't care.
I don't like a radio topic about alternate uniforms. Like I don't care.
Yeah. I don't really love it. I like traditional.
See, but what's weird is I say I don't care, but I also kind of hate alternate uniforms. So it's weird to say like, well, I thought you said you don't care. How can you have emotion about it if you don't care? It's like, I don't care enough to like get to think it has, some people are like, oh, it's bad luck, blah, blah, blah. I don't get into that.
I think my problem is like why I don't like them is like it doesn't look like my team. So I'm like, who's that team playing? It's not my team.
Well, I couldn't agree more. It's one of the things I'm sorry. It's one of the things that drives me nuts about Nebraska basketball. Nebraska basketball has to lead the country in alternate uniform. They have a different uniform on like every game.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think the NBA has gotten outrageous with sometimes I'll see like the Jazz in a uniform. I'm like, that's the Jazz? That doesn't even look like.
I think in the NBA, it's like, well, if we have a new jersey every week, then there are some people that want to own every jersey that's ever been made.
Right.
So then they have to buy another jersey.
Yeah, it seems like it's a ploy to just sell jerseys. But like I always think one of the most unfortunate things is like LeBron's iconic chase down dunk. He's in those terrible bad the t-shirt.
The t-shirt year. It's like, who decided that?
So bad, but I don't care about any of that stuff. So we probably need to go on limo.com and get that limo set up for McCullough and Winery. Okay, and you want to handle the pizza? Yeah. You get that pizza ordered. Cheese.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.